good? It's your boy, Paulus Harris, aka Chris Uncle. Hey, guess what? This your first time tuning in. Go ahead. Hit the doggone subscribe button. Hit notification bell. Every time I post up new content. Hey, first and foremost, tasty beverage. But let me first apologize for that long drawn out reaction that I did on Drewski, right? But then again, right, I still haven't figured that show out. I mean, you love who you love, I guess. Or you love who you could love, I guess. Right? But I ain't fucked up about this shit. But this past weekend was needless to say, it was a very interesting weekend, right? With the United States and Israel, they're going to double team on Iraq. Right? I mean, not Iraq, Iran. Right? And then for the most part, it could be all right. Some can understand why and some can't, right? But my thing is this. Why is that country steady standing? Right? I mean, let's actually really stop and think about this for a minute, right? And then for those of y'all that really don't know your history with these two countries, and then Trump himself said it. Hey, look, 47 years, 40 plus, 40 or damn near 50 years, right? You would think these motherfuckers would actually really come to agreement about something. But here's the thing, people. People holler about now, okay, depending on how long conflict is gonna last, then it's gonna jack up the gas prices here, which for the most part, okay, I can already tell you, look, the gas prices is all, at least for here in North Little Rock, Arkansas, right? And then it said now, unless these motherfuckers had some actually like really inside intel, right? I know this is, go ahead and say this is the 1st of March, right? But gas prices started easing back up around, I want to say mid to late January. Especially like basically what happened before this ice storm hit. Gas prices were low. They were pretty low. Then the ice storm hit. And then once all of that, whatever the fuck that was, because that listen, people, that was not snow. I don't know what the fuck that was, but it was not snow. I really couldn't tell you what that was. But gas prices actually have been going up ever since the fact, because again, if y'all actually like really knew how stuff works, they put all this shit in the air, right? I'm talking about chemtrails. They put all this shit in the air to control the weather, right? And then who the hell you think profits off of this? All of the Anybody, all of the light companies, right? Because it's just for the simple fact everybody know it don't get cold no more. And for the most part, it really don't get hot no more. Because these people, the powers that be or the powers that shouldn't be, they controlling every goddamn thing. They controlling what the fuck we watch. They like everything. They control what the fuck we watch. They control what the fuck we eat. They even control when it's gonna get hot, when it's gonna get cold, if a tornado gonna hit this bitch, or a hurricane, goddamn earthquake. They actually really control all this shit. So I know, like right now, okay, crazy uncle. So what the hell they got to do with what's going on with the U.S. and Israel and Iran? Well, it's quite simple. Just actually really go back and look at history. Every 10 years, this country goes to war with somebody over some bullshit. Right? It used to be where like, okay, the economy is good, or it's about to get where that, okay, shit about to happen. Shit about to go down. A lot of motherfuckers finna lose some more money. They go start a motherfucking war. Right? And it's usually always about motherfucking oil. It's usually always about motherfucking oil. Let's actually really this, and then if y'all actually really think that I'm bullshitting about this, let's actually really just stop and look at it for a minute. 1991, what the fuck happened? Right? There's a storm happened. Who were we fighting in? And what the fuck was it about? This is 1991. Okay, so let's do 10 years. Let's do 10 years later. 2001 happens. We all know what the fuck happened September 11, 2001. That shit happens, which for the most part, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That shit was staged. Right? But then again, if you actually really stop and think about it, what happened in 2001 is no different than what the fuck happened in December of 1941. War brings in money, people, or did y'all not realize that? And then it's just for the simple fact a lot of our troops died because basically over a motherfucking lie. Yes, I served this country 21 years. And then even then, there was a lot of shit that I seen, that I actually really witnessed go down, right? And I was just like, you know what, that's bullshit, because the whole thing would happen with the whole 9/11 thing. I was in Germany. I was stationed in Germany at that particular time. And then it's just for the simple fact, I mean, yeah, everybody got alerted. But it's just for some of us, we just knew that it was bullshit. Like then, because who the fuck actually like really purposely takes an airplane and running into a building? Right? And then it's almost like, okay, well, you know who did it, but you knew who did it, but who you go after? Or who did we go after? What happened 10 years later? Right? It's the same shit. 2021. Actually, like really going into what the fuck is actually really going on right now. Right? It's just 2020, I want to say COVID hit, which that shit, that was an inside job. Right? And then that lasted what? Well, depending on who the fuck you talk to, that shit is still going on right to this day. Right? Then 2020 happens. 2021 happens. Then now it's Russia and the Ukraine. And what is it about? It's about motherfucking oil, people. Just like Saudi attacked little bitty ass Kuwait. Right? Then you like, okay, now you got the big ass Soviet Union, or whatever the fuck they call themselves now. They attacked who? Do Ukraine over oil, right? So and then now, what just happened just this past Saturday? Now they worried about the traffic. Are they gonna let the oil leave? Right? They go like, yeah, y'all going about your business. Or they gonna keep the shit. But then again, I just look at it like this. Why should the United States be worried about that shit when I want to say, hold on, let's do this. I think I had it already. Hold on. I mean, because I just, I just look at shit and I'm just like, okay, what the fuck are we doing? And why the fuck are we doing it? Right? So, and guess what? That shit is not coming up. So hold on. Let's do this. Y'all bear with me right here. We're gonna say countries with the largest. I'll be goddamn this shit. I just, So hold on, right? So you got Venezuela. Now we already heard what the fuck Trump said. They made that huge deal with Venezuela, right? So Venezuela holds the largest oil reserves, 300 billion barrels, followed by Saudi Arabia, right? And then Iran, right? The top 10 also includes Canada, Kuwait, UAE, which all that shit got hit, Russia, Libya, and then the United States. Okay, that cleared, that clears the top 10. So, but my whole deal is this, right? For the most part, I can, depending on how the oil is supposed to get out, okay, I might actually, I really can see that it's a problem. But you can't sit up here and tell me that this is the problem right now in so-called 2026 when it was the problem in 2011, 2010. Wait a minute. No, put like this. You can't make, because it's the problem now or it's an issue. You can't make me believe that the same problem that's going on right now is the same problem that happened in 2020, the same problem that happened in 2010, the same problem, or 2011, right? The same problem that happened in 2001, 1991, 81, right? You would think that motherfuckers would actually really got their act together by now, right? And then it's just like what I said. Why the fuck is this country? Why is this country still in existence? I mean, put like this: the news media tell you one thing, right? And that's why I have to give a shout out to my boy Zachary Hubbard, even the Mag Truth, on a lot of stuff. But the thing about it though is this: I got a pretty good idea how old Zach is. I really don't know how old the Mag Truth is, but my thing is this: I've been around ever since 1973, so it's just for the simple fact, okay, I have seen this shit coming forever and a motherfucking day. And so again, the $64,000 question is this: why is this shit steady happening? Right? I mean, put it like this: when Saddam Hussein was in power, okay, you got rid of that motherfucker. And then you almost gotta ask yourself, okay, well, who did they choose to put in play? Right? Because it had to been, it had to be somebody from us or a combination. Hey, guess what? We can't let doggone Iran do this shit. So you put a motherfucker in play. This was in 91, right? And then whatever the fuck happened between 91 and 2001 was quite obvious this shit happened. But whoever the fuck that you put in play, apparently they didn't do a goddamn good ass job about it. Because Hussein didn't get taken care of until Obama came in office. And so then again, you almost gotta ask yourself, okay, so you got Hussein out of the way. Who the fuck did y'all put in play then? It was about oil in 91. It was about oil in 2001. Right? And again, just like say, because from 01 to 06 or however that shit go, Bush Jr. was in office. Right? And then this is during the same time when I'm in Germany I'm in the army, going to one of the motherfucking NCOES schools. And we talked about it again because, a lot of motherfuckers was hollering about they had him in his sights. They could have took him out then. And then the motherfucker gonna say, okay, well, why would you take him out really not knowing who his followers are? I said, well, you take their ass out too. But then again, what happens, what a lot of people really don't know, and I've said this plenty of times, maybe not on this particular channel, but I know that I said it on my previous channel. Me and my good friend, Zachary Lee Cohen, may he rest in power. We would talk about this shit all the time. When you got a superpower like the United States, right? According to everybody else, we the biggest and baddest shit out there, right? And so guess what? We got all of the toys that you can play with. And we also got people that can teach you how to play with these toys, and then just to make sure that y'all playing with the toys like how the fuck y'all supposed to play with the toys, we gonna leave such and such and such a charge with y'all, right? And then and what happens? Learn these toys, and then in 10 years, come see me. This is the same shit every motherfucking 10 years, people, and y'all ain't caught on yet. Always been about oil, right? Ain't that much goddamn oil in the world. Especially for you motherfuckers that's walking around, driving around here with these motherfucking electric cars. Now, unless you gonna tell me that goddamn, unless you tell me that motherfucker electricity is ran by oil, then I'm gonna look at you crazy. But then again, I look at how the state of Texas got their shit. Because I truly honestly believe, right, that the state of Texas has its own power grid. Hold on. I'm finna look this shit up right now. Because I remember hearing that somewhere. So hold on. Okay, so here's the deal. The state of Texas has its own power grid. So guess what? If the rest of this shit shuts down, guess what? Anybody living in the state of Texas, they still gonna be good, right? But then let's actually really just looking at this. 90% of the state's electric load. Now, I really want to say that a lot of that shit is, you got the water, hydroelectric, yes, the electricity. But to be perfect, I want to say that some parts of it is coal, right? I'm not too sure about that. So for those of y'all that actually really know how the power grid of the state of Texas, how it actually really ran and all that kind of shit, then yeah, y'all go ahead, y'all holler at your boy, put it down there in the comments as far as like, because I know a lot of it is straight electricity, right? And then hydroelectric, whatever, and then I think the rest of that shit is off of something else, right? But in either case, if you've been around long enough, and you can, and then when you actually like really see the pattern that is put into play, do you already know what the fuck is gonna happen? You already know when the fuck the next war is gonna be, what is it gonna be about, and who they actually really fighting, right? So, but like what I'm saying though, right? With all of this shit that's been going on with the country of Iran, you would actually like really just stop and think, okay, we didn't had enough. We tired of getting our ass whooped. But it's just like what I said though, right? Who are these people who are the powers that be or the powers that shouldn't be? Who are they actually really steady putting into play? Putting them into play long enough to actually really keep this country up and running. I mean, because I look at out of all of the stuff that happened over this past weekend, just like I said, I'm an air defender, right? And so my whole deal is, if indeed anything got hit and people died, then that just goes to tell me that somebody went on their motherfucking job. Where was the goddamn hot crew? Or what were the people in the ECS doing? Right? Somebody went on their motherfucking job. Especially when all the attention is going on, because I'm just telling you, I'm speaking from experience. When the shit happened in 2001, guess what? I was there. Right? We know what the fuck was going on. Then we get deployed and just know, like, yeah, we knocked shit out of the sky. We knocked shit that we wasn't supposed to knock out neither. Right? But I'm just saying, this shit has been about oil ever since motherfucking 1991. You motherfuckers need to change the script. Flip the script. Right? Because because I'm just looking like this. If you got a deal with motherfucking Venezuela, you got a deal with motherfucking Saudi Arabia, then we got our own shit. Really? So what you really trying to, so what is really the agenda? What is actually really going on? And then why did it actually really take y'all so goddamn long to actually really be like, okay, hey, guess what? This is it. We just finna say fuck it. We gonna fuck up everybody, and then we just gonna take over, right? Now, for the most part, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not that type that will actually really push a hostile takeover against any country and any citizens. But then again, at the same time, I look at it like this. We've been doing for like this. United States government has been dealing with this country for forever and a day, right? I don't know. Trump was talking about the 47 years, but then I actually really heard back something as far as like 1953, right? And then that was when the so-called Cold War was going on. And then for all of you motherfuckers that sit here hollering about, well, World War III finna happen, what the fuck you think the Cold War was? That was World War III, people. Y'all are so much behind the power curve to it's ridiculous. Because it was just like, okay, now we fighting to prevent a fight. We got all this goddamn intelligence. As far as like, okay, what the fuck they gonna do next? And then again, to be perfectly honest, I think a lot of it right to this day is straight bullshit. Because the thing about it though is this: if you are the doggone premier country, you got the money, you got the weapons, you got the personnel, right? I'm not saying that you really ain't gotta. I'm not saying this acts like really just turn a blind eye to these people, but at the same time, you put like this. You know what the fuck you have, and you know what the fuck they ain't got. And then I was watching this one TikTok shit, and then so basically what this guy was saying, and then he sounds stupid. But the thing about it, what happened is this. He was saying, okay, if we were to have a nuclear, if indeed a nuclear war happened, that the United States would actually really be protected because of all of the air defense missile systems that we have. Okay, well, guess what? If you knock the shit out of the air, then depending on what the fuck that missile was carrying, now the shit is in the air. So what the fuck are you talking about? And then it's just for the simple fact the people that work at Raytheon, right? Hey, guess what? They just trying to make money. So yes, so just know that the air defense system is not just for the motherfucking United States. Hell, Korea, they got something rather similar than what the fuck we have. They can knock shit out of there too. So it's just gonna be a whole bunch of motherfucking radiation there, I guess. And then eventually the shit gonna hit the ground. You're gonna be breathing in this air, and then it's gonna get to the ground. So for the most part, right? For the most part, dog, you really didn't know what the fuck you was talking about, in a sense. But then again, when I actually really stop and really stop and pay attention to all of the shit that actually really goes on, as far as like, okay, what the fuck do they really tell? What the fuck they really telling us? I think to be perfectly honest, I think all of the footage that we see, a lot of that shit is stock footage, people. Because again, Iran has been at war 9 times out of 10 for as many years that I've been living. And I'll turn 53 and hold on. I want to say go ahead and say 30 days from today. I'll be 53 years old. You know, hopefully y'all will actually really let me see 53. But I've been a pretty good boy up until this point. So I'm just like, okay, why wouldn't he want to see me be 53 years old, right? so, but but basically what I'm saying is this. I can to be perfectly honest, to be perfectly honest with y'all. And what I'm about to say is probably gonna fuck up a whole. It's gonna fuck up a whole lot of y'all. But to be perfectly honest, I know why the fuck they over there. And anybody that acts like really has anybody that really have any type of sense, y'all know why they over there too, right? It ain't put like this. It ain't never been about oil, people. It ain't never been about oil. It's been about something that, again, a lot of y'all put like this. I can tell y'all still won't catch it. Because it's just for the simple fact, right, that to be perfectly honest, y'all actually we really don't want to go back that damn far. And so for the most part, right, let's just look at it like this, right? If you have any type of belief in the Bible, the Garden of Eden, it was 4 rivers, right? You got the Tigris and the Euphrates. I forget the other two. Matter of fact, because like right now, we could pull this shit up now. Like now again, like depending on who the fuck you talk to, right? So you got the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. Now that's just two. That's just two out of the 4. Guess what those 2 rivers had, people? And what is now Iraq or Iran, rather, right? These motherfuckers. These motherfuckers, right? And so you had the Tigers and you got Euphrates. So let's do this. Name of the 4 rivers of Eden. So you got the Tigris and Euphrates, and then you got the Pishon and the Gihon, right? And then you got the Tigers and all that shit. Where that shit at? Over there in Iraq, right? I mean, shit. I mean, y'all go Google the shit. Go Google it, right? Because to be perfectly honest with y'all, it's a lot of motherfuckers that really don't want this motherfucking AI shit to pop off. Or then again, I don't know. Maybe they do, right? But to be perfectly honest, why the fuck else? Why else are they over there? Give me another reason. Give me a legitimate reason other than oil on why the fuck they over there. Put like this: if you got anything, if any of y'all got anything that's gonna beat out the motherfucking Garden of Eden, don't you say shit. Don't say shit else. Because you can get oil in the goddamn where. Right? Why are they over there? They trying to find something over there. They know something is over there. Matter of fact, I give you something. Matter of fact, I give you one even better. They either looking for the Garden of Eden or they looking for the Ark of the Covenant. And then what the fuck happened? What movie came out in motherfucking 1981? Raiders of the Lost Ark. What the fuck was they looking for? What was they looking for? And where did they go? They know the Germans wanted that shit. Because during that particular time, right, Germany was a superpower damn there. But then again, you also got to look at, well, who was funding these motherfuckers even then? The United States of America, right? So, again, and then let's actually really not forget about what the fuck that's over here, especially with the Grand Canyon, because there's certain parts of the Grand Canyon that you cannot go into right to this day. They got certain shit blocked off. And so I say all that to say this. Them bastards, they looking for the so-called Garden of Eden. Why else would the fuck you be over there? They already know. Hey, guess what? They done made a deal with Venezuela. They got a deal with motherfucking Saudi Arabia. And then you got your own shit. So why the fuck would anybody, any so-called news anchor person, whether you male or female, why the fuck would I be worried about how the oil gonna get from over there to here? Well, we got our own shit. So tell me what let somebody else tell me something different. And then again, what's so bad about it, right? Y'all sit up there fucking with the people over there. And you really, and see, that's a war within a war. Them motherfuckers, they've been fighting amongst themselves forever and a day before anybody else in other country that actually really got involved. They've been fighting over land forever and a day over there. Now, motherfucker, this belong to me. Your daddy fuck my mama, but y'all ain't true. But then for the most part, right, you gotta be like, hey, look, what it say over there in the Bible? You are what your father is. So guess what? If Abraham went around and fucked everybody, guess what? All y'all motherfucking brothers and sisters. So what the fuck you fighting for? Yeah, I already know. Y'all looking at me like, okay, yeah, he showed up to gone now. But I'm just trying to tell y'all. Then you try to find the Garden of Eden or the Ark of the Covenant. One of the two people. You really think that the powers that be or the powers that should be are really worried about who the fuck is in power? Because they can take out anybody that they want and put anybody in play. It's a hell of a lot more than what the fuck y'all think that it is. And once y'all realize that, right? But then again, that also goes back to what okay, well, why take this goddamn long, Sergeant Harris or crazy uncle? Well, hey, guess what? This is what? Year 46, year 47? According to what the fuck Trump say? Guess what? Ain't shit really gonna happen until year 49. And again, for those of y'all that actually really know what the fuck I'm talking about, y'all already know the year 49 or 490, right? Like I said, y'all better go back, do your goddamn research. Y'all better go listen to the motherfuckers at IDMR or the Archetype Pattern Workshop on YouTube. Shout out to those guys over there. Shout out to Dr. Williams, right? These motherfuckers, they be telling y'all, right? I mean, to my man Zachary Hubbard, hey, look, you all fine, good and well, but guess what? You don't stand a chance against them folk there. I'm just telling you right now, right? I mean, again, like I said, you cool and all. I didn't, I check you out, but like this, you going off of for first and foremost, you actually going off of a bullshit alphabet, for one, and then for the most part, you'll sit up here, you actually tell everybody that you going off of a bullshit alphabet, but because of the bullshit alphabet that the United States government has actually really implemented, then okay, I get where you're going. Right? You're a good dude. You figure out a lot of shit. But to be perfectly honest, right? I'm pretty sure that you know that it's bullshit. You just call these motherfuckers out on the bullshit. So keep that shit up. So, hey, guess what? With that being said, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell big dad, tell big birthday, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, cross street, round the corner. Paul's Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. Holla y'all.